Welcome to the channel, and in this video we are going to talk about the resume, correct? So the most important thing when you are discussing about your job, when you are discussing about your interviews, correct, when you are planning about the switching the organization itself, the most important thing which comes before any interview process, before any other things, that is your resume. How do you build your resume? How do you update that resume, correct, based on which you get the number of calls from the different organization. It might be a smaller organization, it might be a startup, it might be a MNC, it might be a product based company, it might be a service based company. So based on how do you build your resume will get shortlisted during the resume shortlisting process, correct? So no one from the HR team, what as I'm aware of, no one does it manually, correct? So every time your resume needs to be shortlisted using the software only, correct? So that software will shortlist your resume only when your resume will have certain properties, correct? That property you need to identify based on which your this particular document, this particular resume, on which you are just elaborating about yourself. So it's a kind of your first impression, correct? Whenever you hear about the term that your first impression is the last impression, resume is your first impression for the organization who is shortlisting you to get the schedule the interview for you, correct? So just suppose that I'm unknown person, I'm the HR recruiter, correct, and I'm getting your resume. So I don't know about you, correct? So whatever you will be writing in this particular document, that will be your first impression based on which you will get shortlisted, and I will be able to call you, correct? So that's the thing. So what are the key parameters? What are the terms you should use while writing your resume, and which kind of template you can use to write down your resume? How should you update your Naukri profile so that you will get a number of calls every time, correct? So that is the thing what we are going to discuss about in the detail in this particular video. So let's get started with that. And this is a kind of sample resume, you can say. This is only my resume only, and you can see this is the previous number of experience. It's not the latest one, but just for your reference I have just opened this resume, so that you will be able to understand that what are the things you can mention in your resume, and how your resume can get shortlisted during the shortlisting process. And then obviously you will get the call. Once your resume is shortlisted, you will be getting the call from the different organizations, and you will have a lot of you will have a number of calls, correct? Once your resume starts getting shortlisted, the different organization, the different software tools will shortlist your resume, and definitely you are going to get the calls. So the simple thing is, the first pointer, you can use this word, correct, rather than getting into any application, getting into any other things. You can directly use the word. On the word you can write down everything according to yourself, correct? You can decide the font, you can decide the headings, you can decide the pointers, correct, everything. So you don't have to go with any initial template which is created, because at the end it has to parse, the software will parse your complete document whatever you are sharing. Some organization asks you to share your resume in the terms of doc format, correct? You have to share it in the word format only. Some of the organization ask you to share it in the PDF format. So any of the format will get passed, correct? The tool will pass it, and based on the technology and the skills you have mentioned as a keyword, that will get passed, correct? And based on that you will be your resume will get shortlisted. So what you have to do, you can write down your name at the top, that in a bit higher font, and you can bold it as well, correct? Then you can mention your designation, whatever you have, a senior developer, your software engineer, senior software engineer, the director, or the fresher, whatever you do have the designation. So that designation you can write down here. Then you can simply write down your contact information, that is your Gmail ID and your contact number, correct? Then simple one or two liners, that what's your kind of objective, or about yourself, you can say, correct? So either you can write your objectives, or if you are experienced, you can go directly with the your details, correct, a basic one liner about yourself. So for me, it's having 4.3 years of experience, although it's the previous one, but just for your reference, I have just opened this particular resume only. So, having 4.3 years of experience as a senior DevOps engineer, cloud, and expertise in AWS cloud, Kubernetes, Terraform, CI/CD, Docker, Linux, Grafana, GitHub, and other DevOps skill. You can mention many more, but just go with a simple one. With the only those skill sets on the top, which you know uh, on a higher side, correct? Like if you are asked to rate yourself in these tech stacks, like if I get this resume for the first time, I'm the one who takes the interview, correct? And if I get any resume, what I even do whenever I get a chance to hire someone, like to interview someone, if I am going with the someone resume, I will just go with the keywords which is highlighted or which is on the top, correct? I will consider that the first technology or the first skill set which is coming on the on initially, that the person know a much on the higher side rather than the other keywords. Like if I take the example over here, I will consider that this person, this Manish Kumar, knows the AWS cloud first, then he knows the Kubernetes and the Terraform CI/CD. So I will, if I have to select only 4 technology, I will consider that मनीष को ये 4 स्किल सेट्स पता हैं, करेक्ट? और आउट ऑफ 10 यदि मैं मनीष को बोलूँ रेट करने के लिए, तो ही विल रेट इट 7 to 8, करेक्ट? और बाकी के अदर जो स्किल सेट्स हैं उसके लिए वो कम रेट कर सकता है, दैट आई विल कंसिडर, करेक्ट? The similarly, whatever the skill set you are mentioning over here, correct? AWS cloud and the different services. So यहाँ पे भी यदि मैं बात करूँ तो डिफरेंट सर्विसेज, तो वो सर्विसेज ही मैं यहाँ पे मेंशन करूँगा जिन सर्विसेज पे मेरा फोकस और जिन सर्विसेज पे मेरा होल्ड होगा, करेक्ट? So you have to mention only those services on which you do have hold. You do have the hold. You are not going to mention all those different services about which you directly don't know. Correct? You have just read about that somewhere, and you are just going to put that. Otherwise, you will get trapped, because interviewer is most of the time, I won't say that every time, because even I have faced some at the some time that uh, the person who comes for the for as an interviewer, correct, that is less experienced than you. So you have to judge that at the time of your interview only. But the thing is, you have to mention only those skill sets on which you do have a high hold, correct? So that whenever whatever questions comes into that even in a depth, you will be able to answer. तो मैंने यहाँ पे मेंशन करा VPC, EC2, ASG, EKS, RDS, Lambda, IMS, 3 Route 53, CloudFront, CloudWatch, Secret Manager, KMS. There are many more, but I have mentioned all these things. Then Terraform, that second highest one. Kubernetes, Jenkins as a CI/CD. सो यहाँ पे भी यदि मैं देखूँ तो जो डिफरेंट स्किल सेट्स मैं लिख रहा हूँ ऑन द पॉइंटर साइड, करेक्ट? पहला ऑब्जेक्टिव मेरा रहा, उसके बाद स्किल्स मैंने लिख दिया, सो दैट यदि फर्स्ट टाइम कोई रिज्यूमे मेरा देख रहा है, he will be he or she, the interviewer will start from here only. So rather than getting into the depth, he will start from the here, that okay, आपको AWS cloud आता है, आपको Terraform आता है, तो he will get started with the basic from here, and then he will get into the project details and then specific questions related to the scenario, correct? तो AWS cloud, Terraform, Kubernetes, Jenkins as a CI/CD. क्यों मैंने जेनकिंस को एज ए CI/CD भी लिखा है, कंटिन्यूस इंटीग्रेशन एंड कंटिन्यूस डिलीवरी भी लिखा है? क्योंकि जब आप जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शंस में जाओगे, किसी भी जॉब पोस्टिंग के जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन में जाओगे, देयर माइट बी ए सिनेरियो दैट यू वोंट गेट द टर्म जेनकिंस, देयर माइट बी अ टर्म कंटिन्यूस इंटीग्रेशन एंड कंटिन्यूस डिलीवरी, देयर माइट बी a term container orchestration or simply orchestration. Then they might not be mentioning the Kubernetes, they might mention Terraform, they might not be mentioning the ISE, or they might be mentioning ISE only, not the Terraform, correct? So you have to put all those I will say the keywords which can be filtered, correct? So they might be writing this VPC, EC2, ASG, EKS, they might not be mentioning this AWS cloud. So I have mentioned the AWS cloud as well, I have mentioned the different services as well, so that my resume can get shortlisted, correct? So these are the technical terms on the basis of which your resume will get shortlisted. ISC and Terraform are two technical keywords on the basis of, sorry, on the basis of which you can your resume can get shortlisted. Similarly, for the Kubernetes, for the Jenkins, for the GitLab and GitHub, version control, that's a different term, correct? GitLab and GitHub are the tools and technology, but version control is the term which is used for these tools and technology. Just like for the Kubernetes, it is called as container orchestration. Grafana, Prometheus, Dynatrace, PagerDuty. What are the actual term for these tools and technology? Observability and monitoring tools, or the APM tools, application performance monitoring tools, correct? Microservice architecture, Kafka and Rabbit MQ basics, correct? Open telemetry, that's a new collector, which is also the part of your observability and monitoring tools. Then Bash scripting, Linux, Python, Helm, Docker, containerization, correct? So this way you can write down your skill set. Then talking about the key projects, you are not supposed to get with this project, but you can write down any project and you can discuss in the details. Here also, if you just see, I have written down 40 plus reusable Terraform modules, 24 AWS account, the different services EC2, RDS, VPC, load balancer, second manager, Cognito API, gateway, SES. So these are the technical keywords which I have highlighted. Why I have highlighted? Because if you are going with the first project, correct, or even if you with any of the projects, you will see that these terms are highlighted. So anyone as an interviewer, if I am the interviewer and I see any such terms on your resume, I will be highly impressed that you have written down 40 plus reusable Terraform module. So I will not get into any theory and any other things. I will just ask that what is your directory structure? How have you provisioned? What are the way you have configured your Terraform? The different customer related infrastructure you have provisioned. How do you manage the state file? Correct. So there might be a different questions based on the terms what you write. I have mentioned 24 AWS accounts I have managed, correct? So there might be a question related to the management of the AWS accounts rather than getting into the specific services. That will show that I have not just worked with the AWS services, but I have also organized and managed the AWS accounts. I do had the hold of managing the AWS accounts as well, correct? So that says that you don't have only the basics, you have the hold on the things, correct? So those numbers, those data pointers, these are called as a data pointers, correct? So you are not just getting with the terms only, you are mentioning it in the numbers as well. It's the kind of data that मैंने 40 से ज़्यादा रियूजेबल मॉड्यूल्स लिखे हैं कस्टमर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोविजन करने के लिए। मैंने 24 AWS अकाउंट्स हैंडल करे हैं। ये दिखाता है आपके डेटा, करेक्ट? सो दैट विल एनी टाइम, करेक्ट? वी ऑलवेज यूज टू प्ले विद द डेटा ओनली, करेक्ट? In the similarly, here if you see AWS case resulting in 50% reduction in deployment time, closer to zero downtime, 30% cost saving. Similarly, I have talked about the 50% reduction in deployment time. So these are the kind of your terms and technology, terms and the numbers. Cloud formation to Terraform migration. This is highlighted. Why? Because I know about this. Correct. So whatever I know, I have highlighted. IBM Cloud to AWS Cloud, and the migration keyword. If you see the Terraform migration and the migration, why? Because in the most of the JD you will see that they used to mention the migration keywords, correct? So this migration keyword will pick up that and it will get your resume shortlisted. Then these are the terms: availability, reliability, scalability, security, and performance. Production system. So all these are the keywords based on which your resume will get shortlisted, and you will be able to crack your interview as well, you can say, correct? Once your resume will get shortlisted, you will get the calls, and based on that one only you will be able to appear for the first time in the interview with the different organization. Once you appear in the interview, you will have the format of your questions and answer. You will answer those things, and probably you are going to be shortlisted. You can mention any of the certification. If you have done any certification, you can mention those certification as well over here, and that's the kind of add-on on your profile. So this is the first impression through which you can make your impression in front of your HR recruiter, and then only this resume will get shortlisted. The technical person on the directive of the manager, who is the hiring manager, that manager will shortlist your resume, and this resume will get into the process for your interview to be scheduled, correct? So this is how you can prepare. Like I have already created the different contents on the Terraform, AWS Cloud, the Kubernetes, CI/CD, and I have also already covered the interview related questions as well on the channel, where you can watch out the different videos and you can prepare yourself for the interview as well. And whenever you require any kind of guidance or any kind of support from me, you can directly contact me over the channel as well. You can get into the details as well, but I will say that the public comment will help everyone else as well, correct? So that you can say, that you can do. And best of luck for your DevOps interview preparation. And if you are trying to switch from any other domains to DevOps domain, or from non-IT to IT, this video is going to help you for writing your resume. If you know or if you know someone to whom you can refer this video, you should. If you want any kind of support from me, you can directly contact me. Okay. So stay tuned with the channel and subscribe to the channel as well. That motivates me to create more content. Till the time, thank you. Bye bye.